As protests continue to ring out around the world in honor of the Charlie Hebdo victims, the magazine is unleashing their own protest. Charlie Hebdo is not holding back in their first edition since the attack. The magazine will be publishing a caricature of the Prophet Muhammad holding a sign that reads, "Je suis Charlie," meaning I am Charlie in English. Not only will they be releasing their first edition on Wednesday, they will be printing 3 million copies in 16 languages, a big jump from their regular run of 60,000. Charlie Hebdo's lawyer, Richard Malka, said that we will not back down. Otherwise, none of this has any meaning. The French government has yet to make a statement. Another threat faces France as the terror group Al-Qaeda has made another statement today. The group wrote on their website that France pays the cost of its violence on Muslim countries and the violation of their sanctity. French authorities show no sign of fear. They will be voting this week with the National Assembly on whether to authorize support of the international fight against ISIS. France has also sent their largest warship into India. The ship is accompanied by a nuclear-powered attack submarine and 2 guided missile warships. The ship can also hold up to 30 jets, 2 radar aircraft, and several helicopters. This is the only aircraft carrier France has at their disposal. All the pieces to the puzzle are finally in one place, now that Indonesian divers recovered the AirAsia Flight 8501 cockpit voice recorder. With the black box and voice recorder, investigators will try to piece together the reason for the airliner's misfortune. Authorities continue to reassure relatives of the victims that the search for bodies will not end. Due to high winds and extreme weather conditions, the search has proved difficult in the last few weeks. The data may take up to a month to uncover the reason for the crash. Secretary of State John Kerry is urging Pakistan to fight against militant groups that threaten Afghanistan, India, and the U.S. During a news conference in Islamabad, Kerry discussed terror groups that pose a threat to not only the U.S., but also Pakistan. Following the massacre at a Peshawar school that left 134 dead, the Pakistani government spoke out against terrorism. The country has vowed to put an end to violence and to step up their operations against militants in the area. Kerry offered an additional $250 million in food, shelter, and other assistance for those displaced by the conflict in tribal areas. Kerry described the Pakistani effort as the proof is going to be in the pudding. Pressure has been building up in Washington as some government officials want to see improvement in Pakistan's commitment on eliminating militant groups.
Pakistani forces deserve enormous credit for the ongoing military operations that they have already undertaken in North Waziristan and elsewhere. And these operations have already produced significant results. But make no mistake, the task is a difficult one, and it is not done.
Conditions in Syria continue to be dire as conflict enters its 4th year. Over 15,000 residents in the Damascus neighborhood of Yalda line up, hoping to receive food aid. Medical aid is also set to arrive in a few days. The aid is given through the Syrian government and Syrian Red Crescent, but some residents are calling the distribution unfair.
The government provides the food. We don't deny this, but the distribution is unfair.
The relief committee in the area steals the supplies. Huge amounts of aid are offered, but nothing reaches homes.
Kurdish rebels in the area, including women, fight day to day against the Islamic State. 2 million people are now displaced due to the ruined infrastructure and violence in Syria. Over 200,000 lives have been claimed in the Syrian war, much of which has taken place in Damascus. The violence intensifies in Nigeria as the Cameroon army launches an attack on Boko Haram. According to Cameroon officials, at least 143 Boko Haram fighters were killed during an attack at a military camp. Boko Haram killed 1 Cameroon and lost multiple assault rifles, heavy weapons, bullets, according to Cameroon Minister of Telecommunications. The militant group has killed thousands throughout Nigeria since it emerged in the last decade. The group recently attacked the Nigerian town of Baga, killing as many as 2,000 people. Cameroon President Paul Biya has made a plea for help from the international community. The president seeks support after Boko Haram sent threatening remarks to Biya through YouTube. A fun day at an Indian cricket match turned deadly. Over 100 people in the last 2 days have been admitted to hospitals and 29 dead in India's Uttar Pradesh state. Alcohol that was passed around during a cricket match was found to be toxic. Doctors treating patients say that some are on life support, while others have already gone blind. Doctors believe the patients were given methyl alcohol. Methyl alcohol is sometimes used with ethyl alcohol because it costs less. The owner of the shop that sold the alcohol has been arrested. This is not the first time toxic alcohol has caused deaths in India. In 2011, 170 people died in West Bengal, and in 2009, 107 people were killed in Gujarati, all from the toxic drink. A meeting between Ukraine, Russia, Germany, and France has been canceled. A failure for a truce in the Ukraine conflict has led to tension between the European countries. The group was set to meet in Kazakhstan this week, but due to a lack of ceasefire, all talks have been called off. German Foreign Minister Frank-Walter Steinmeier said this week the differences in opinion made it clear how difficult it is to make progress towards a political solution. Ukrainian government and Russian separatists both continue to blame each other for ceasefire violations. Over 4,700 people have died in the violence caused by the Ukraine conflict.